Hi everybody, my name's Jackie. I'm one of the powerlifting coaches here at American Iron. I also help out with some online coaching. This is Nathan, general manager, and today he's going to be my mobility dummy for upper body mobility flow. So we're gonna start today with some cat-cow. Cat-cow can help you warm up so that you're not going into your mobility too cold, gives your muscles a chance to get ready for what you're about to do. So you're gonna first start in this tabletop position. You're gonna soften your belly, let it sink down, head comes up. And then you're gonna press up, arch your back, tuck your chin. This is cat, back into cow, up into cat. So you're gonna work at this at your own pace. You can go faster, slower, whatever feels good. Do this about 10 times. And then the next time Nathan's up in cat, we're gonna have him get ready for a combo. So he's in cat here, he's gonna push back into child's pose, bend his elbows, and swoop back up into cow. Cow, yep. So now he's gonna push back up into cat, again back into child's pose, arch his back, bend his elbows, up into cow. Perfect. Bring your head up a little bit, Nathan. Yep, perfect. We'll go one more time here. Again, you're gonna wanna maybe do this 8 to 10 times, giving yourself a chance to warm up. Very good. So the next movement we're gonna do is what I call over-unders. You guys have probably seen this before. A lot of people do it. So with a PVC pipe, or if you're at home, you can also use a broom. Grab a little bit wider than you would for like a conventional deadlift. You're gonna bring that PVC pipe over your head to a place where you don't wanna force it. If you can get all the way, that's good. A lot of times what'll happen here when people do over-unders, they'll really extend their back, so they're pushing it forward. What you wanna do is make sure that your core stays active. So you're not overextending here, and you're not overextending here. And you're gonna come back over, again, working at a slow pace, whatever feels good for you, warming the shoulder joints up, keeping your core active. If this feels really uncomfortable, you can widen out your grip until you feel a little bit more comfortable to push your shoulders. You don't wanna force anything. Obviously, you don't wanna injure anything. So just making sure you're working in an appropriate movement pattern here. The other thing that'll happen is a lot of people will start to jut their chin out. So when they get to this back position, they really wanna jut their chin out. Again, same thing, you wanna keep your chin tucked and your belly button, pull that back into your spine so your core is active. So again, 10 times, maybe a little bit more, just depending on how tight your shoulders are. The next movement we're gonna do is gonna be a pec stretch. So the pec stretch you can do when you're back in the gym, you can do a pec stretch on the racks. You can also do it on a doorway. So at home, find a good doorway, hallway, something where you have a little bit of movement. All right, so here with a pec stretch, you can see Nathan is stretching his right pec here. He's gonna feel it a little bit in his shoulder probably, and also down into that pec. The biggest thing with the pec stretch is a lot of people, again, wanna kinda arch their back and just push into it. You wanna maintain a level of core stability so you're not putting any more strain on your back. So you can see he's really using his core, making sure he's not overextending and pushing into the door with the same resistance. There's not one area that's working harder than the other. So now left. So other ways you can do this too, like for me, I have pretty good mobility in my pecs, so I have to kind of rotate out in order to feel that stretch. Some people will feel it here, but for me, I just twist a little bit. Again, belly button stays engaged, core is strong, and I feel it a little bit better that way. So it just depends on your mobility and what you need to work on. All right, so the next one is gonna be the forearm on the wall stretch. So this one's actually really good for anybody who works at a desk or types a lot. Your forearms can get a little overworked. So for Nathan, when he puts his hand on the wall, he's already feeling a stretch there.
Down in my bicep, down my forearm.
The other thing you can do is you can actually rotate and you'll get a different stretch there as well. So moving kind of through both of those movements, holding them for 15, 20 seconds each way. Really try to press that palm into the wall.
The lower you are on the wall, the easier it'll be. And the higher you are on the wall, the harder it will be. So you can gauge your own tension.
So then some other options, again, if your mobility is perhaps a little bit, if you have a little bit more flexibility in your forearms, you can add some tension with rack, or again, a doorway, where you're pushing a little bit further into that stretch. When I'm on the wall, I don't feel much. So I always have to kind of give myself a little bit more range of motion in order to get that stretch. Okay, so our next one, we're gonna pull in a bench here. We're gonna do a chest opener, but there's a couple ways to do it. So if you can clasp your hands around your back, this is a good chest opener. You're trying to pull your hands down to the ground. Your chest gets nice and big. Again, don't let your chin jut out. You want it nice and tucked in and not overextending either. Again, belly button is into the spine. You're activating your core. If you can't clasp your hands, we're gonna show you a variation with a bench. So depending on, again, how this feels, you could also do it standing, but the bench is a little bit easier. Nathan's gonna grab a seat here. He's gonna grab the end of the bench there and do the same thing. So trying to make his chest nice and big. You can bring your chin up to the ceiling if that feels good. Again, here, same thing. Pull in your belly button, core is nice and tight. And again, that's gonna help with that front shoulder, chest area there. All right, moving into the next one. So we're gonna do a tricep stretch here. It's also gonna help with shoulders. It'll help a little bit with pecs and a little bit with back too. So you're gonna wanna use a bench, you're gonna wanna use a chair, something that you can comfortably rest your triceps on. There's a couple different grips that you can use. So you can use a broom or a PVC pipe or something like that. You're gonna do an underhand grip here. You can also do it in what we call prayer position, and I'll show you guys that one in a minute. So Nathan's going to rest his elbows on the bench here. And you can see he's going to keep a flat back. So again, a lot of people will wanna get relaxed and arch into this. Keep your core active. And he's gonna try his hardest to pull his PVC pipe back to the back of his neck here. You can also see he's tucking, or he's letting his head kind of fall in between his arms. That's gonna be important to allow some stretching here in the lats. So here you're gonna get lats, you're gonna get tricep, you'll probably get a little bit of shoulder, again, just depending on what your mobility looks like. When you come out of this, make sure that you come out of it nice and slow. You don't just wanna slam that PVC pipe down, you wanna give your body a chance to adjust to what you're doing. So the next one we're gonna do is a prayer position, so this means hands are together. This one might be a little bit more difficult, again, depending on your mobility. So same setup, core is nice and tight, head's gonna fall between the arms, and the idea is to get the thumbs back to the back of the neck here. So he's gonna pull his belly button in, make sure his core is active. Yep. All right, so triceps, lats, a little bit of shoulder. We're gonna end today with a little bit more child's pose. So there's a couple different variations of child's pose. We're gonna do some that's gonna work on lats. We're gonna do a little bit of rotation for the thoracic spine, and then we'll wrap it up. So I'm gonna have Nathan get into a child's pose position here. Again, your knees can be as wide as they need to be for you to feel comfortable. Child's pose is a resting position. It shouldn't be strenuous, it shouldn't hurt, it should be nice and comfortable where you can kind of rest here. So from here, Nathan's gonna reach both hands over to the right side. Again, don't force it, but you do wanna feel some tension. You're gonna feel a little bit of a stretch here. Some people will feel it in their hips, just depending again on your mobility. And we'll reach to the other side. And then he's gonna come back into that child's pose position, come into a tabletop position, and we're gonna do some thoracic rotation. So rotations are important for your mobility. If you're a power lifter, you probably don't do a lot of rotation, so this would be something to work on for you. Nathan's gonna plant that left hand, right hand's gonna come up to the ceiling in that rotation. Good. We're gonna go through that 3 times. Nice and slow, making sure the core is engaged. Good. And then on this last one, he's gonna rotate up and he's gonna, what we call thread the needle. So his right arm is gonna go under his left arm, and then we're gonna go back into a resting position here. And then his left hand's gonna come up if he chooses to give him some support right here. Yeah. And you can get a nice stretch here too. So again, more back, you get some rear delt in there. Again, rotation, always good. So we'll do the other side. Come out of that slowly. We're gonna go left side rotation 3 times. And then he's gonna, yep, perfect. So again, right here should be a resting position. You shouldn't feel like you're working too hard. You shouldn't feel strained, but you do wanna make sure that you're getting that nice stretch both here and in the rear delt back here. And Nathan's gonna come out of that nice and slow into a tabletop position. And then what I would recommend is going through that flow a couple times. So this mobility routine, you can do it maybe 2 or 3 times in a row. Every time you do it, it's gonna get a little better. I'd recommend timing yourself, so do it for about 20 minutes. Just go through it, take your time, and make sure you're really feeling those stretches.